talk about it. I want to tell people that, how much of a lot of it is BS, or it's like so general and it's so like based on like tunnel vision almost. But then I'm just like, do you? Like,
yeah, I think people get to their conclusions on their own. I think like when you've got things that work for you, you can block out all the other noise. I think that, like, I've certainly seen from myself in the last 6 to 12 months, like I'm just sticking with what I know works for me, because it is just an information overload. And then you keep, and I think that we do just generally as humans compare ourselves to other people.
Yeah.
And
it's easy to believe like somebody else knows better.
Yeah.
Especially I feel like when, and I used to think this a lot, aesthetically, when you've got somebody who like looks the part, you're like, oh, they certainly know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, oh, but looking the part and feeling the part are two very different things.
Very different things.
Very different things, and we just had a conversation about lunch, and I'm like, there isn't a time where I actually feel like I'm resisting or I'm avoiding or I don't eat certain things, or I feel like I'm always watching what I eat. I'm mindful. And I feel like that's the same concept we need to have when we move, when we're trying to find a solution for our body.
Yeah, I agree. I think like if you look at if you just follow a handful of yogis, that is, I think yoga is probably the perfect example of that, because yoga is just body movement. What you see yogis doing on social media is gymnastics.
Yes.
And
a lot of the time.
And whilst it's nice to be able to do a handstand, and that, only from the perspective of, oh, well, I can still do these things despite being X age, it's like I could do a headstand 5 years ago, and I kind of fell out of love with it, and then I tried again, and now I haven't done it for so long, and I'm like, oh, like, does it matter if I can do a headstand? Like, does it matter if I can do crow pose? That doesn't matter. What matters is I can just move through the process without A, feeling pain, or B, injuring myself. And I think that, you, like I say, you come to it on your own, because in the beginning, everything's a competition.
And it starts with a competition with yourself, can I just say?
Yeah. And that's exactly what I mean. Like, you compete with yourself. Like, as you know, I've subscribed to Kat's membership, and sometimes it can be really intimidating because she's mega strong and she's a beautiful yogi and all the rest, but I don't hold that strength anymore for, as you know, various reasons, and I can work back on. I'm working on it. Oh, sorry, but I don't know that I will ever, be that strong again, and that's okay. As long as I can still move through a flow, I think it'll be good.
How long? So I just want to welcome whoever's listening and whoever will catch this conversation. This is Sharron, and I just want Sharron to introduce herself, because I just click the record button. I like to just sort of like start off as a sort of informal chat. Sharron, how about just introduce yourself? Talk a little bit about how you found posture therapy and me, and then we'll just sort of segue into gravity and then connect some dots as to like what brought you into the program. Okay. And I think that will help people understand like the background of this conversation that we're having, and like kind of where you've come from.
So I discovered you through Kat, and I think that when I have reliable sources whom I trust on Instagram and social media, and that I don't trust everybody. I think that some people are just there to enhance their profiles, and I genuinely don't believe she's one of them. She's running a business, of course, but I've been with her from the very beginning, like 10 years or so. So when Kat says she's done something and it's helped her in an extraordinary way, that coming from a yoga teacher tells me, okay, whomever she's referring, she has first-hand experience, and she wouldn't jeopardize her own
Recommendations, her own
recommend.
reputation.
Yeah, so yeah, just for, I don't know, for a kickback or whatever. I don't ever believe that of Kat. And so after years and years, and I do mean years, probably a decade of pain, which started in my right hip and progressed into my neck, into my wrist, to the point that I've had to have my operation for carpal tunnel.
All on the right side.
Yeah, I decided that I'm done spending money on osteopaths, chiropractors, all the rest. There's got to be another way. And then there was you. My experience with yourself as a person, I think that you're very easy to get along with, and you're very engaging with your students, which is fabulous. I never feel pressured, but you also encourage, which is nice, especially when you're like swamped. Like I've been swamped, as you know, and I haven't been able to do week on week on week
What you would like.
what I would like. But the reality is, I do the program is so efficient. I can do it. I can do the bare minimum and stay in check. So yeah, I think, you know, it's been a really interesting journey. I don't feel like I need to go to the osteopath anymore. I feel like I can fix myself, which is crazy, because what I'm saving on that. I used to have a weekly visit with the osteopath, and no longer.
Weekly.
Weekly, yeah.
So I just want to recap something, because it's so profound, and I feel like in these types of conversation it gets lost. But you've been swamped.
Yeah.
You've been in pain for well over a decade. You're doing 2-3 days a week?
Now, yes, but I can get away with 1 day a week, because there's certain
1 day a week. And how long? Like, let's say 30 minutes, 40 minutes?
No, an hour.
Okay, so an hour
I will
session.
do a full menu in an hour.
An hour session a week.
Yeah.
And you're no longer in need of seeing a specialist.
No.
You feel confident that you can basically do what your body needs, and you know how to give your body what it needs. So you know to do the balance test, you need to check, you need to do this, so and so, so forth. And you also feel like you've got enough information on how to break down every single exercise that you feel confident that you're doing it in the right way.
Yeah, because although you offer the online, you know, your personalized training once a week, I unfortunately, it's just at a time where I could just never make it, and it's just work has been really too busy. And despite that, I feel like the tutorials are enough information for me just to carry on.
So I also want to highlight that there is a live element to the program which Sharron has not been able to attend, because time difference is a thing that I will probably live with and have to contend with the rest of the day. I wish I could be awake 24 hours for every single human. It's not possible. Sharron is a very independent learner, and she's just basically taken full responsibility for her own wellness, and she's done that for a very long time. So she's in the category of someone who can very well self-study, keep in touch with me, and ask me the questions that she needs in order to get the support and the clarification that she needs.
But that's the important part, is that I can keep in touch with you. And I think that is what's lacking in so many other online programs, is that you get issued a program, adios. And I do not feel that. I mean, even on Saturday, I did not expect to hear from you, but you were very kind and responded to why it is that I might be having a migraine. And I think that is really important, and possibly what keeps bringing me back, because we had that interaction. I've got to know you from a business point of view and all the rest. But I do feel like if I reach out, I'm going to be responded to. And there's, I feel like it doesn't matter how many people you're teaching. You know all of us, and you know all of our ailments.
The concept I've always had is I was there. I was in your shoes. I was the busy person. I was the go-getter. I was working corporate. I was doing sports. I was running marathons. I was playing sport. I had nobody. I had nobody to, I was just trying to figure it all out myself. So I would do a bit of yoga, it didn't work. I would do a bit of this, it didn't work. And then when I found functional movement and posture therapy together, the biggest loophole that I found was response times. Because I'm like, okay, but today is when my back is flared up, or today is when my neck is flared up. I can't wait 4 weeks until I see you next, or 3 weeks until I get an email or a message back, because the help I need is like right here, right now.
That's it. And that is exactly where I was at the beginning of last week. I've had a quarter work-wise where I've just been, I do have a standing desk, and I stand and I walk where I can, and I have had to focus on weight training because I've had to pick a thing because there isn't enough time realistically to do my full-time job, walk the dog, do yoga, do posture therapy, do walk, like it's too much. So I focused on weight training because I felt like the first part of your course has given me the foundation to set me up right to do my moves correctly without injury, which did happen. But I will tell you something interesting, is that I haven't been feeling very well for the last 2 weeks. So I laid off the weight training and just been doing posture work and walking. And today I went back to weight training, and it was mega hard because my body's tweaked, because I've been consistent for 4 days now. I've done the posture therapy, and now suddenly I'm using the muscles again that I need to be using for the action that I'm doing.
And so that's come 360 just at the start of this conversation. We said, I've got to learn to allow people to just find their own answers, right? So the program is there, all the routines are there. Within that, I've split every routine into like 20, 40, 60-minute segments because, again, like you said, people have lives, they have busy things going on, they have curveballs, they have all sorts of things going on. Sometimes you don't even feel like doing something, but you could just do one exercise for 15, 20 minutes. We know that's the way the posture therapy works. But you've just nailed it on the head, because you've literally just proven, or you've just said something that proves to me that when you reconfigure muscles in the way that we are doing in posture therapy, they will just work the way they're designed to work.
Well, it was very humbling because 2 weeks ago, I could lift nearly 40 kilograms, and today, smack back down 15 kilograms, but using all my correct leg muscles to do a squat. And I could go much lower.
And take that and relate it to, for instance, you having done strength training prior and still got an injury, and now doing strength training and not getting an injury simply because form follows function. We talk about that concept in the program. When form is in the right, when you have form, it means you've got alignment. When you've got alignment, you're never going to fail on form. So you're mitigating those situations where you're like, oh, today my back hurts. Oh, today.
I don't feel the tweaks anymore. You know, I think my neck is still a little bit bothered, but I'm definitely, not in pain or anything. And I'm just going to keep cracking on. And today I start week 2, and we'll just keep going. Because as you know, I quite like week 1s.
Yeah, I like week 2 for you, because the anti-rotation will probably take care of why your neck hurts. You've got a desk job, you've got you're probably using one hand a little bit more than the other. That's just how things work. So thoracically, we could actually be in compensation just by rotation. And if that happens, then you're not able to move your neck in equal directions on both sides. So that then transpires into strength training. It transpires into how you walk the dog. It transpires into everything else that you're going to try and do. But also, we know from your posture audits where your compensations lie. And we know that your neck isn't the issue. We know that your wrist was never the issue. We know all of the things that you've had fixed prior are not actually the issue. So the posture therapy will take care of the actual issues and release the muscles that you're probably likely compensating with.
But it was never fixed though either, right? It was a band-aid on a bullet wound for 10 years.
How long is it since you had the carpal tunnel? Carpal tunnel is basically
Yeah. Carpal tunnel I've had on and off for a decade.
yeah.
And had the surgery last year, and now wish I'd never done it. But it's you can't change. You can't
No.
change what's done. So you
Done,
can
it's done. What's done is done.
yeah.
And in terms of weight bearing, in terms of using that wrist, in terms of anything that prior to gravity used to bother you in that wrist, how is that now in comparison?
I mean, I still feel it, so there's still work to do. I will say that as I've gone through the program, it becomes less and less. Do you remember at the very beginning you said do one full menu and then do a downward facing dog and see if you still feel pain? I don't feel pain, I'm just aware of it.
Yeah.
But then equally I've just been in a highly not so much no stress, but just work. And I now need to just unravel all of that a little bit, which is why I'm very committed just to squeezing in the time.
This is just saying it, week 2 is like screaming out at me. So I'm looking forward to some of your responses and some of your what's shaking, what's kind of feeling like it's releasing a little bit after week 2's menu.
I'll feedback because I had shakes in areas that I'd never had my first time round, which was really interesting for me. And also standing on the slant board up against the wall, I actually got agitated, like my body was resisting it. I can't tell you how resistant it was. My brain kept saying, get off. And then the other side would say, no, just stay. And then the shakes came. So yes, I wasn't a friend of the slant board yesterday.
Very interesting. So you were shaking on the board?
I was shaking both legs equally. But also I could feel a pain in my upper hip on my right-hand side on the slant board. So
are you on the lowest setting?
The lowest setting, yeah.
Okay.
So I think it's just, a combination of all the passiveness in the last few weeks, well, the last work quarter. So, I've just got to unravel it all. And I'm confident 2 weeks' time I'll be fine. Absolutely fine.
Very interesting. I'm looking forward to the next 2 weeks of your feedback.
Yeah, no, 2 weeks it'll be fine. And then I've got to carry on so I can be better than fine.
And that, it's funny because I spoke to my business assistant and we were talking about what I've seen over the 12 weeks, and this is a reality, is people kind of go up to the first 6 to 8 weeks. They're enthusiastic, they're on it, they keep doing all the homework and they're committed and blah, blah, blah. And then when we hit that sort of like 3/4 point or the 3/4 mark is when I see people losing their consistency, they lose that buy-in, they lose a little bit of that sort of commitment. And I think it's a reality because a lot of programs, this is my view, they promise results in such a short span of time that it's built this culture of quick fix.
Yeah.
Very quick expectations. And it's like, oh, I should be feeling like amazing in like 8 weeks. And you will. I'm not saying you won't. But in order to stay there,
you got to persevere
and take it to the next level, you literally have to get so doubled down on what every exercise is asking of you, how to do them, how to incorporate them, how to break them down, how to maybe say, you know what, today I only have 15 minutes. So of my entire program, which one exercise or which 2 exercises can I pick that's going to like get my body back into the position that I needed to?
Yeah.
And over the span of 12 weeks, I'll be honest with you, what you're going to learn is how to do the exercises. You're going to learn how to fix your problems. But what happens after the 12 weeks is you've got to keep that up in order to know how to keep doing it.
Yeah. I mean, you're 99% right with your 8-week mark. I'm going to throw a spanner in the works. I feel better after five sessions. So, that's the problem is that people feel so well, they
stop.
Carry on.
This is the thing. It's like the human psychology is, and I think it's also based on what I say is location and symptom-based problems, right? Yeah. We feel something, we go to a specialist, we walk out, we feel good, So we think the problem's like gone away until we go another week, 2 weeks, and then the thing comes back and you're like, oh, I need more maintenance. So you go back again. And so the same mentality is what we bring into this after week 2, after even just a posture audit. I've heard people go, my goodness, I don't feel pain. I don't feel my knee. I don't feel my hip. I don't feel my wrist. I don't feel this. So then after the 2nd week of the program, they're feeling even better. Coming into the 4th week, they're like, oh, I'm invincible. And then they stop. And then they wonder, oh, why are things coming back? Or why, okay, it's maybe not as bad, but why has it come back? And why is it the way why is it the way it is?
Yeah.
And the first thing I ask them is, well, what's your schedule like? What are you prioritizing? And 99% of the time, people are prioritizing strength training, going to the gym, running, yoga, class, their classes or their like fitness schedules. And I'm saying to them, that is 100% great. But don't forget that the body you're taking into all of these things is the body that you will need to use in the right way, in the correct form to get optimal function.
Yeah. I agree. So right now I've just committed to my strength training and posture. That's it. Because I just want to get stronger, and I'm actually working on my own personal goal now of grip strength.
Good.
I want to start improving my grip strength. As you know, as you get older, it's a very good sign of how able you are.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying really hard, and for me it's a little bit scary because of the carpal tunnel. I do feel there is a little bit of trepidation, but already today I could hold for 2 seconds longer, having done a week of posture therapy.
So there is, in your bonus videos inside Gravity, which you'll have by next week. I keep saying next week, but by next week, there is a foot function video, there is a wrist, shoulder, elbow video, and there's a breathwork video. It's about 15 minutes each. Those are your bonus videos. I would highly, highly, highly recommend you use the bonus video for wrist, elbow, and shoulder to prep yourself for strength training. And again, it's the posture 360 concept is posture work doesn't necessarily always work alone. And you'll know this having coming out of Gravity is your body will want more. Yeah. And you're very much along that path. You're saying all the right things. You're saying my body wants a bit more strength training. I want to focus on strength training. And brilliant. It's amazing because that shows me that your body needs that stimulus and you're ready to give that to your body. Yeah. But I think conditioning goes hand in hand with posture work.
Absolutely, yeah.
Posture work fixes the sort of misalignments, the niggles, all of that stuff. Yeah. But you need to be able to condition and prep your body in order to do the strength training. And for me, I think if you're working with a personal trainer, the prep usually just involves a bit of a warm-up, and sometimes that's not enough.
Yeah. Okay. When it's released, I'll have a look.
Yeah. So we'll go through things like weight bearing, spreading the fingers, position, form, all of that stuff. And then you use that and you'll see that it adds a lot of benefit to what you're already doing.
Super. Thank you.
Good.
Where's the bonus video on Pillow Talk, by the way? Is it on? I couldn't.
No, I took it down.
You did, didn't you?
I did because I didn't think it was that clear, and also like more of a test. But what I will do is probably do a YouTube video.
Okay.
I think it's just a little bit more clear, and I think it's better that I demonstrate what I think is the right way to have your pillow and so on and so forth, rather than in a live format.
Okay.
I was also just testing Kajabi, and I'm not such a fan of their video component. I think this works much better.
Okay.
What would you say has been the best part of Gravity for you?
It's twofold. One, the interaction that we have with you, and two, being pain-free, for sure. I definitely think it's hand in hand for me because I am, as you know, I'm very independent with all these things. And it's nice just to know that you I can dip in and out and you're still there. So I feel like you catch me, even though, you have already scheduled time to, give me 2 hours once a week. Unfortunately, as you say, it's just the way life is. And I don't feel begrudged by it, because I feel like you're there regardless. I might just have to wait a few minutes.
That is exactly why I've set the business up, because different people, different time zones, different schedules, different demands, different, activity-based, different learning pace, different learning styles. There's so much to contend with.
Yeah.
I wish I could have a live call every single day at different times of the day.
No, but
It's not efficient.
but the option is there. And although I haven't been able to use it, it doesn't mean that I don't feel short done by it, because as I said, your tutorials are so amazing and one can dip in with you, which is nice.
I'm glad you feel that way. My ethos has always been serve, don't sell. And that is something I've learned the hard way in the last year to year and a half. Is in the online world, in the coaching world, everybody wants to sell. Everybody wants to sell their magic solution, their magic method, their magic ways, and their magic programs, and so on and so forth. But for me, I think when you serve is when you solve.
I agree. Well, I think that's why I enjoy working with you, because it's kind of my own ethos as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you feel that way. Thank you for clarifying. And the second?
The second was just being pain-free. Yeah,
here's an interesting question, and something I was a bit averse to when I was setting up the program details. If I said to people, you are guaranteed to be pain-free, having done the program, even if it's just the first 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever, do you think I would be crazy to offer that as a guarantee to people? Or do you think it's actually...
No, I think that it would be a very self-confident statement that can be backed up 100% by actually doing the program. I mean, I don't know the anatomy in the way that you do, but I know I was pretty wrangled. I was pretty wrangled. And this also through a very, very tumultuous personal period for me. And despite that, after 10 sessions in the first round, I was pain-free, 4 in the second round. So no, I definitely think it can be guaranteed.
That is huge. And not just, I'm not asking these 6 questions or
no, it's good for people to have
for myself. I think it's more because I'd like people to understand what they are investing in terms of the value and what they're getting out of it. My biggest battle is there are so many cheap modalities out there. So many. I mean, people are paying on average, what, £100, £100, £60, £80 for a chiropractic session, 60 minutes. And the problem isn't going away. And you're proof of that. And if you're doing that, let's say once a week, like you said, even for some people once a month, twice a month.
Yeah.
If you rack that up over a span of a year, and you invest in Gravity, which is a lifetime investment, a one-time lifetime investment, program for the rest of your life. These are the kinds of statements I need people to hear.
Well, I mean, I can only speak my truth. I can't speak for other people, but my truth is, my experience has been every time I recommit to the program, which I should never stop, I am pain-free in a couple of sessions, and I can only speak for myself, but I regard it so highly that I've got a friend who's trying to have an operation for continuous lower back, and I said, you don't need the operation, you just need my friend Rachna. That's all you need. you just need Rachna. So I don't even know why you just don't even bother. Just go. Here's the link. She'll fix you.
Yeah. Well, she'll fix herself. I'll just show her how.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful to have you in this community. I love your matter-of-factness. I love your directness. I love that if you don't like something, you say it. If you love something, you say it. I love that you are ambitious, you are self-driven, you are personally responsible, you are so curious, and you won't just be bowled over by someone just saying something that sounds good.
Well, I was skeptical.
Yeah.
I go back to summer of last year. I was like, could this just be another internet thing? But you have proven me wrong.
What changed that for you? What made you realize that this is the bee's knees?
Just I remember one morning waking up thinking, where is the pain? Literally, that like, where is it? Oh my God, this is what it feels like to be in a pain-free body, because I think we forget. I think that
We're so used to
we're so in tune with the pain that we don't know what it's like. Well, for me, I'd forgotten what it was like to live without pain. And it terrifies me now that I've lived without pain. It literally terrifies me enough to continue with the program to stay out of pain, because I'm only getting older.
There's two questions I have in my mind. I'm just painting them so I don't forget. One, I painted them and I lost them. No. So one is, how did it make you feel to be pain-free? Like, I talk about it, right? Like, I literally make statements about living free and pain-free and living out like a dog walk that feels amazing. But like, it's so hard to put it into words to actually help people understand what it actually feels like. And that's what I'm most curious about, is that day, because I know you messaged me and I think I still have the message somewhere. I had tears because I'm like, this woman has suffered for 10 years and all she needed to do was this simple thing. Simple. It was simple. It was not something that made you break a sweat. You may have shaked, you may have released, you may have cried, you may have screamed, you may have been agitated. You went through all
I'm so agitated.
You went through all those emotional releases. But did you ever believe something so simple could make you feel like that?
No, but I'll best describe it as floating. Because it was very profound for me. The minute my feet hit the floor, I knew I wasn't in pain. I suppose it's a bit like living with migraines and then you don't have it and it's just like, woohoo! I don't have a migraine today. This is fabulous. Let me crack on with life. And so when you're pain-free, you can literally
I used to
crack
get chronic migraines. It's not fun.
Yeah, no.
And how is your migraine from last week, by the way?
Oh, it's completely gone. Now it's gone. Now it's gone. But I knew from the first round that it does release something within me. But I had a combination of both the migraine and all the nerves in the neck, the base of the neck, were just on fire. And I was like, yes, no, we will continue forth into week 2 and week 3 and week 4 because I can't keep coming back to this.
You've made a couple of statements in this conversation about aging. And I've obviously, as a human being, it's evident that aging happens. You cannot stop it, you cannot deny it. It is just a part of life, it's a circle of life. But before gravity, if somebody had told you your pain was related to age, I'm sure you'd have believed them.
I think my pain's probably related to less aging for me, more physical activity in my 20s, 30s, 40s, like hitting it hard. But I do want to wrap myself in a veil of protection as I age, because I've only just sort of come to the point now where my body's starting to change because I'm perimenopausal, and you do get a much greater sense of all the injuries throughout your very busy life they start stacking up against you. And I basically am just here because I want to protect myself going forward. I don't want to give up weight training, yoga, posture therapy, walking, being able to get up and off the toilet. Like, I just don't want to be able I don't want to give up my independence. And the only way to do that is to stay in the best possible form that I can.
And do you think now through gravity, you have the tools that are going to let you do that till you're
100%.
And
like, I just think everybody should be, like, you should just, you can just make all these professionals go out of business. Everybody should just, at the age of, I don't know, 15, start this and just never stop.
I don't think I need to say much more.
No, you don't, because the program speaks for itself. Unfortunately, you just got to get people onto the program, but
I'm having this conversation.
But that's your job. But yes, it's been a very enlightening journey for me. It really has, and I thank you for that, because it's there's a long ways to go for me, because we're always work in progress, and life is unraveling at a very quick pace these days. But I just keep going, and if I can only do it once a week, then I will. But right now, my hope is 3 times a week, 3 times a week weightlifting, 3 times a week posture therapy. And actually, I'll tell you something that's really interesting. On Saturday, I did my posture therapy outside in the sun. And you know how you say on all of the sheets, like, if you shake and you have the time, stay there longer. And I did, because I had the time and it was lovely. And when I looked at my, I've got an Aura ring, and when I looked at the data, I hardly ever get into restored mode. Like, that's the best mode to be in. And I had 2 hours of restorative time on Saturday. I was like, yes, there we go. Thank you.
I want to reiterate to you that perimenopause and posture work are like your BFFs. Like, they can 1000% go hand in hand.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that shaking is your nervous system resetting itself.
Correct.
Plain and simple.
Yeah. That definitely.
Whatever is stored in your muscles, it releases. Whatever is in your nervous system is let go of.
Yeah.
And if you will notice, you will feel less triggered, you'll feel less miserable, you'll feel less agitated, you feel like you can eat better, you sleep better.
Yeah.
Those are things that tell you that your cortisol levels are in check. And for
that's
me,
the thing I'm working on.
and for me, somebody who's highly driven, somebody who is always stimulated, who sits in front of a screen for a living, you will notice how much this helps you.
Yeah, so I'm now going to do it in the evenings instead of the mornings, because having seen that data on Saturday, I was like, that's exactly what I need after a day of work.
Yeah, so what I'm going to help you with now is, because I know there's going to get, as we get past week 3 and 4 in the program, the menus get a little bit more, they're not difficult in terms of like intensity, they're difficult in terms of like the complexity of the exercise. So they're going to take people a bit longer to learn and do. I want you to break them down. So you can do the first 40 minutes in the morning, and then you break down and you do that last part of the 20 minutes or the 30 minutes in the evening. Okay. Because what will happen is there's always that long exercise in the menu. You can do that part in the evening.
Okay.
And that's the combination that I like for you.
Okay.
And you've been saying that the slant board has agitated you but given you shakes. Yeah. I'd like you to use it even more.
Oh,
okay. You've got to tap into the things that are difficult.
I know. I was so irritated on Saturday. I was like, I just want to get off this damn board. No, you've got to stay. No, I want to really get off now. It's really annoying me.
Yeah. And put statements like this in the Posture Fam community, because I think you're not the only person who ever feels like this. I think we're just not used to voicing it. We think it's in our minds, because I think we've also been told that things like this are in our minds. Yeah. Especially as women, we get told like we're so dramatic and we're always making mountains out of molehills and we need to control our emotions. Please don't. This is not the emotional controlling arena. Let it go.
Well,
Just
I
like
liken it
slowly
to
build it.
yoga. If you're really in tune, if you're doing yoga for yoga, not for aesthetics or to show the world that you can move in a very dynamic and beautiful way, and you follow, if you work with just the breath, your body will show you what is resistant.
Yes.
So it's very much the same when you go through the posture therapy menus. It literally shows you what you don't want to be dealing with.
Yes. And I cue that a lot. You'll notice in every single video, I say to people, breathe.
Yeah.
After the first minute, it's so easy for us to like release and let, relax and forget about the breath. But you will notice that until the end of that video, and people ask me, what, for 15 minutes you're breathing? And I'm like, yes, I'm trying to. And when I forget, I just check in with myself, because the minute I start breathing, it's almost like I get transported to the place that I'm feeling something. And then I'm like, oh, that feels terrible. That feels great. Or that feels like I need to just let go a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're also becoming very intuitive. And this is when I say it gives you the sense of living from the inside out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all just good. It's all very, very good. I don't know what more to say. I just really hope that people listen and don't hesitate is what I would say. My only remorse, if anything, is not having jumped in years earlier.
Well, they say when the student is ready.
Yeah, yeah.
You'll
You got to
come
be at
up.
that level of frustration.
Yes. But I have a closing question for you.
Yeah.
You probably used to go and see somebody for the hip, and then they would treat your elbow and then the wrist, and you were very much in this location and symptom-based method of trying to fix yourself. One question I often and very often actually get asked is, well, how does gravity, which is a whole body program, help me fix that one part of my body? So like a scoliosis, a hip injury, a knee injury, an ankle injury. And I'm always very stuck in it, trying to explain to people that it's not about the location, it's about finding the issue and then working through the whole body in order to fix that issue. So how would you explain gravity being able to fix any kind of issue in the body to someone, if you had a chat with them like if you were on a bar stool and you had to explain to somebody how that would work?
I would just say it's magic. I don't know how the magic happens. I literally do not know how the magic happens, but it's just magic. You put in the effort and you will get the results. It's like anything in life. If you are determined enough to be pain-free, not that you know that when you're buying into your course, you just don't know what you're going to get. But I do say that I came to you at a point where I was at the point of despair. I genuinely didn't know what more to do. And I was just fed up spending money. I have to be honest. Even if it doesn't matter whether you've got money or you're scraping the money together for these therapies. I was just fed up scraping or gathering or booking the next thing, trying to find an hour in my day to make it happen and all the rest. And I'd say there is some kind of magic that happens that your body is holding on to something, whether it's past traumas, past injuries, past whatever. And if we're not addressing that, you're never going to be fixed. But I will say, I remember at the same time as working with the beginning with you, I was still going to the osteopath. I went for like 3 sessions because we discussed this, you and I. And after the 3rd session, she was astounded by how much my alignment had improved. She actually said it. She said to me, whatever your posture lady's doing, it is amazing because your right shoulder is no longer dropped and your hip isn't protruding anymore. And I mean, she noticed it immediately. So magic.
And on that note, what I want to say to people is, even if I use the terminology and the reference of people going to chiropractors and physios to try and get that help, my intention is not to bash those individuals, because that is what they are trained to do and they are brilliant at it. And you very well can use those services to maintain your body, but what it will not do is fix it. That is not what it's doing. It is
If you're
simply,
looking for a maintenance program, then please do go to the osteopath. I used to go on my cycle, osteopath, chiropractor, and acupuncturist. I now do neither of those.
and
And I
actually, I'm
really
going to
like it. I
say,
bought myself time.
if you didn't do those, I think you'd be in a catastrophically very different place. You'd probably be worse off than where you were when you started. So what
Correct.
they were doing was not making your problem significantly worse, but they were just holding you in a plateau.
Well, that's exactly what they were doing. And it comes at a cost at both financial and time. That's
And
exactly
mental,
what they're doing.
mental and emotional, I believe.
Yeah.
Right, because you're not changing out of it. You're almost just passively like living in it.
Yeah. I mean,
But
I
you,
totally believe that those services are there and they can help people in a moment, 100%. I'm also not slating those industries or those practices, but for me, and as I say, I can only speak for myself. I can't imagine ever needing to go back now, though,
no.
because
People are always asking me. I'm now almost 5 months pregnant, my first baby. I play paddle 2-3 times a week. I'm playing golf once a week. I work out almost every day, like yoga, posture work, etc. And people are like, "You don't have massages? You don't go see a chiropractor? You don't need a physio?" And I'm like, "No."
yeah,
And then if I do need a massage, just maybe because I feel like one when I'm on holiday, or I just want to have a nice 1 hour long nap and she's just giving me like some, nice strokes and like a muscle release.
yeah,
Even that, I never go into a massage and book a deep tissue massage because I don't need it.
no, nor do
Right?
I actually, and I used to have that quite frequently too.
Right? Like what my body needs is pure relaxation.
Yeah,
And that's what I get when I go for a massage or sit in the steam or the sauna or whatever I do, because that the rest is taken care of.
yeah, I agree with that.
And for me, that is huge because I want people to know that I value these individuals. And a bit like you, they were saving me 10 years ago from getting worse or from basically wanting to jump off a cliff.
Yeah,
Right? So they have
very
a role
affecting.
and they are really good at what they do. And there are some who are way more intuitive than others. And those who go way beyond just their sort of training regiments of treating the body, they actually know intuitively how to heal somebody.
Yeah,
And if you are lucky enough to find those, 100%, I would never, like we said in the first 3 weeks of these, I never say to people, stop doing that. I said, if you want to maintain it, 100% go for it. But
yeah,
you'll naturally find that you probably need it a bit less.
you do. You really do. You need it less. And also it helps with digestive issues. I think that's one of the most underrated things was I can actually feel my hips melting. They're just melting. So all that tension that's in that whole area is just easing up, and it just makes everything else also much easier.
For me, when the psoas muscles, which are your muscles down the front of your body, are tight, your abdominal cease, your diaphragm can't move, your pelvic floor's tight, your gut is pretty much jammed.
Yeah.
And this is a connection that often people don't make. It's going back to what we discussed when we first started this conversation, is this tunnel vision. You're like trying to treat the gut independently of the body. And I'm like, but the body hosts the gut.
Yeah.
So for me, I would rather work the body and give the gut a natural chance at just finding its own flow. And obviously doing all the right things. Because I know that's the way. That's nature's way.
Yeah. So yeah, it's already good.
I'm gonna leave it here. I absolutely love you. I love your energy and your curiosity. And you thanked me, but actually I think my thanks is to you because you took a chance, not on just yourself, but on someone who lives across the ocean, who you've never met before. Lives on a totally different continent, although we share that African connection, and I think that's gold. And I should be in London, I think, maybe in a couple of months. So if you're ever free, I'd love to have a cup of coffee with you.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
And we can chat and actually make ourselves known in person.
That would be very nice.
Until then, I'm going to
Let
hold
me
you.
know when you're doing your Nairobi.
But until then, I'm going to hold you to just keep doing your posture work because it's changing your life I've seen you light up. I can see the shine on your face. It's brilliant.
Thank you.
And you just keep doing you.
And you just keep doing you. But keep me posted with, well, I will check in. I will check in as I go through the weeks now, just if you don't mind.
You do
I'll
that.
just check in with you.
100%. And always here for you.
Thank you. And let me know about the new program, yeah?
The membership. I was actually just, as you were saying, strength training, one little thing that I've noticed is when people feel great, they want more. They want more of it, but they're ready to do more. And the Posture 360 method has got 3 simple pillars. One is posture work, one is functional movement, and the other one is strength training. And the membership will basically offer you a way to incorporate movement and strength training into your life, and in a way that is simple. Within 30 minutes. You will kill yourself in those 30 minutes, I promise you. So that you can consistently then hit all of those 3 pillars under one umbrella.
So when you say strength training, are you providing programs, as in?
It will be a class. So basically what I'm doing is once, at the moment I'm thinking once a month, but I think once a month will be efficient if I do 1 posture routine, 1 movement routine, 1 strength training routine, and then a somatic routine. Somatic is breath work, mindset work, habitual meditation, all of that stuff. And then the other 3 components are 30 minutes of each of those. So a posture routine to take care of something, functional movement to basically get you a little bit more mobile and working in different directions. And then the strength training will happen to basically seal all of those elements together.
Okay, that's very exciting.
Yeah, so it's been something that's been in the pipelines in my heart for a very long time. I think gravity for me has proven the concept of people will need more. And we already have, I think, 30 people on the wait list, which is amazing. And you're one of them. So as soon as it's ready, you will have it.
Perfect. Okay. And you look after yourself.
I will. Thank you.
Thanks, Rachna. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.